What's up, everybody? We're gonna get straight to the point in this video. I read an article back in 2020. This is a 19-minute read, apparently, and we're gonna read it word for word. We're gonna read it all out, and at the end, we're gonna discuss. There's a lot here to read. This is gonna be a long video, and it's not for dummies. This video is for people who fashion or well, you consider yourself. I always say fashion. What's the word? Where you like where you see yourself as a certain thing. You fancy yourself as a smart person. But it's good to try to fashion yourself into a smart person as well. But if you see yourself as an intelligent person, watch this video because this will explain to you where your wealth went, and that it's not the immigrants, trans people didn't do that. The 1% took all the wealth in this country, the billionaires, millionaires, whatever you want to call them, the elites. And this article perfectly explains it all. It's Time Magazine. I'm going to leave a link, obviously. I always do that. It's by Nick Hanover. September 14th, 2020. We were in the midst of the pandemic, so that was a perfect time to talk about this. And this guy's a venture capitalist. Keep that in mind as we read this. Okay. And full disclosure, I hate reading out loud. Love reading. I hate reading out loud because I have ADHD and my mind will trail. And I would just wish for it to be over, and I'll get kind of cranky. Let's see if we can make it through this. 19-minute read is not going to be easy for me. Like many other viruses hard-hit victims, the United States went into the COVID-19 pandemic racked by pre-existing conditions. So true. A fraying public health infrastructure, inadequate medical supplies. See, I just got to slow down. An employer-based health insurance system perversely unsuited to the moment. These and other afflictions are surely contributing to the death toll. But in addressing the causes and consequences of this pandemic and its cruelly uneven impact, the elephant in the room is extreme income inequality. That's like the main problem with society, and nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to get better until we tackle that. And Donnie Dumbass can't tackle that because those are his donors. So it's just going to get worse. And I think we're going to have a revolution in this country because we don't have leaders that can tackle these fucking real, very real problems. You're fucking everybody's life up. How big is this elephant? A staggering $50 trillion. That is how much the upward redistribution of income has cost American workers over the past several decades. This is not some back of the napkin approximation. According to a groundbreaking new working paper by Carter C. Price and Kathryn Edwards of the Rand Corporation, that's not like exactly a liberal company, had the more equitable income distributions of the 3 decades following World War II, 1945 through 74, merely held steady, not change anything. The aggregate annual income of Americans earning below the 90th percentile, people in the bottom 90%, me and you, would have been $2.5 trillion higher in the year 2018 alone. That is an amount equal to nearly 12% of GDP. That's insane. Enough to more than double median income, enough to pay. Here's the kicker. This is the part that blew my mind. Why I showed my parents this article, everybody I knew this article. Enough to pay every single working American in the bottom 9 deciles an additional $1,144 a month. Let me read that again. That is an amount equal to nearly 12% of GDP, enough to more than double median income, enough to pay every single working American in the bottom 9 deciles an additional $1,144 a month, every single year. You couldn't do more with $1,144 a month. And guess what, motherfucker? Kicking the immigrants out, shitting on trans people, not allowing them to get their health care isn't going to make your life better. You're not going to get that money back because the rich stole it from you. Price and Edwards calculate that the cumulative tab for a 4-decade-long experiment, they call it an experiment, I call it rape, in radical inequality had grown to over $47 trillion from 1975 through 2018. That's why people that backlash against Jimmy Carter, he ushered in neoliberalism. Jimmy Carter was the first Democratic president after the age of LBJ who ushered in the Great Society, massive government spending to lift people out of poverty. And Jimmy Carter was the beginning of the rollback of that. And that's why there was such a massive backlash and why Reagan won. And the recent pace of $2.5 trillion a year, That number we estimate crossed the $50 trillion mark by early 2020. That's $50 trillion that would have gone into the paychecks of working Americans had inequality held constant. $50 trillion that would have built a far larger and more prosperous economy. $50 trillion that would have enabled the vast majority of Americans to enter the pandemic far more healthy, resilient, and financially secure. As the Red Report demonstrates, a rising tide most definitely did not lift all boats. It didn't even lift most of them, as nearly all of the benefits of growth of the past 45 years were captured by those at the very top. An immigrant didn't do that, motherfucker. Trans people didn't do that. Pay attention. And as the American economy grows radically unequal, it is holding back economic growth itself. And these assholes claim to care about infinite growth. You're not going to get it like this, dumbass. You got to redistribute the wealth a little more equally. Even inequality is it meted or meted out unequally. Low-wage workers and their families, disproportionately people of color, of course, we live in a white supremacist society, a white supremacist society, a white supremacist, racist, sexist society. Suffer from far higher rates of asthma, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, diabetes, and other COVID-19 comorbidities, which are pre-existing conditions that work in conjunction to make COVID worse, basically. Yet they are also far less likely to have health insurance, of course, and far more likely to work in it. And this is a venture capitalist talking like this. Why are you a venture capitalist? You need to come on the left. It's like you've seen the light. Try to like cleanse his soul. Likely to work in essential industries with the highest rates of coronavirus exposure transmission. It is no surprise then, according to the CDC, that COVID-19 afflicts a disproportionate burden of illness and death among radical, racial, and ethnic minority groups. They think we're all radical. Now, Kamala Harris is a communist, right? Because she's a black woman. Stupid. But imagine how much safer, healthier, and empowered all American workers might be if that $50 trillion had been paid out in wages instead of being funneled into corporate profits and offshore accounts of the super rich. Imagine how much richer and how much more resilient the American people would be. Imagine how much more lives would have been saved had our people been more resilient. All right, we're going to stop reading there. Like the rest of the article is about the coronavirus pandemic. We're pretty much out of that, and now we're probably about to enter the bird flu era. But this video wound up being about 7 minutes long. I hope you learned something. I'm going to leave the link in the description to read the whole article. And tell me how you can come away from this thinking that trans people and immigrants ruined everything. I guess you could do, it's Time Magazine, it's fake news. Yeah, good luck. You know, I don't believe that Trump's words can be saved. I believe they're all in a cult at this point. Maybe like 5% can be saved, see the light, but this video isn't really for them. I don't talk to Trump supporters. I don't think you can be saved. I don't have any faith in you. I don't respect you. This video is for like people that are kind of in the middle or on the left, like just, feeling cynical about it, or maybe like think they want to join the right wing, start shitting on trans people and immigrants and the like. Just look at this article. You see where the money really went. It wasn't immigrants. It wasn't trans people. It was the 1%. And it's only going to get worse under Donnie Dumbass. We need a fucking revolution in this country.